Good morning. In this video, I'll be reviewing the program by Musclemonsters, which is titled The Best 3-Day Workout Split for Muscle Growth Full Program. So let's have a look. It's just in the description. So we have workout 1. It doesn't have days associated with it. So yeah, I guess we just run this as we want over a course of a week or with whatever rest days we want. Workout 1, barbell row, 3 sets of 6 to 8. So I really like this. This is a great way to open a day. Heavy compound work. 3 sets I think is a really good rep range for heavy compound work, especially for beginners. And this is probably, like, if you think about it, this is a beginner program because, you know, those are some people going to be looking up the best workout split or whatever. So yeah, 3 sets, and I think 6 to 8 is a great rep range for strength work, and I like that it's a rep range, so you can progress. It's not a huge rep range, but at least, you know, you can progress through reps. Then we jump to it. A lat pull down, which I don't hate. I'd probably prefer this to be a pull up, but once again, I really like the sets. 3 sets I think is good, and rep range I think is great as well, 8 to 10. So that's, yeah, a great start to a day. Then we jump into incline dumbbell bench. So this is obviously a full body program because we've just gone from pull to push, or from back to chest. But I love this exercise selection. I think dumbbell bench is a great movement, and I think incline dumbbells can often be a bit more beginner friendly because people find it easier to get into the incline position than flat. That's one thing I've noticed with my clients. And so yeah, and I think 3 sets is 8 to 10 is a great rep range. I like it's a rep range, and I like 8 to 10. I think it's fantastic for dumbbells. Honestly, with dumbbells, you can't really lose. You can go, probably 8 is some of the lowest you'd go because else if they get very heavy, it's hard to position. And then, yeah, you could go higher than 10, but I think 10 is not bad at all. Then we go to walking dumbbell lunge, 3 sets of 8 to 10. It's kind of, to be fair, it's going to be 8 or 10 because else it won't be even sides. But even so, yeah, no worries. I think this is a good exercise. I like dumbbell lunges. Look, would I prefer a Bulgarian? Yes, but maybe that's just my bias. But I think this is fantastic. 3 sets, 8 to 10. What I like for beginners as well is the rep range has been consistent so far, other than the first exercise, which is strength work. Yeah, 3 sets of 8 to 10. Yeah, fantastic. Good stuff for the legs. Then we jump into face pulls. We're kind of jumping all over the place, but that's kind of the nature of full body, and I don't mind it, to be honest. None of this stuff's going to take super duper long to warm up for. Like a walking dumbbell lunge, you just literally do 1 set body weight and jump into your weight, especially if you're a beginner and you're not that strong yet. And same with dumbbell bench, maybe 2. I mean, it's not going to take long to warm up, so why not jump all over the place and program however you think is best, which seems to be what this guy's doing. So face pulls, 3 sets, 12 to 15. I like that he's bumped up the rep range a little bit for face pulls. I think face pulls should be done in a higher rep range, just to make it more, it feels safer and more comfortable, and I think you get more out of it. Yep, 3 sets of that. And then we jump into dumbbell curls, 3 sets of 10 to 12. Nice to get some bicep isolation. 10 to 12 I think is a great rep range for curls, and I think dumbbells are a fantastic curl variant. So day 1, I think is really, really good. We've hit, what did we hit? We hit 2 sets of back and posterior chain with the barbell rows. We hit a set of chest, I shouldn't say a set, 2 back exercises for 6 sets, 3 sets of chest, 3 sets of legs, 3 sets of face pulls, 3 sets of curls. Yeah, fantastic day. I really, really like this. The one thing I would say is you could possibly superset some of the stuff together. Like, for example, you could definitely superset the face pulls and the curls together. And you could toss some supersets into the other things, because we are missing any traps or abs or anything like that here, so that you could superset that in here. But I'm kind of splitting hairs. I think this is a fantastic program so far. Day 2, we jump into he's actually included here, full body pull emphasis. Yeah, and I guess what he means by the emphasis is what you're starting with, which makes sense. He's totally right there. You start with what your goal was for the day, you know. So you can toss some other stuff in at the end, but you're really putting the most juice into what you open with. So yeah, day 2, or workout 2, is full body push emphasis. Bench press, 4 sets of 4 to 6. Really, really good. I like this. I like that he's included an extra set versus the rows. I think it's because he understands that bench doesn't have any axial fatigue. You're just lying down. So why not do an extra set? It's not going to fatigue you that much. And then 4 to 6, I think, is a fantastic rep range for strength work, and I like that it's a rep range again. It's interesting that he's dropped the rep range down from a 6 to 8 he had in the rows, but it's not a problem. It's just of interest. Then we jump into overhead press, 4 sets of 6 to 8. So we're back up in rep range again, like the barbell rows. Maybe it's just he thinks that beginners should go a little bit lighter on axially loaded movements, which I don't disagree with at all. I think that's totally fine. And I like the order he's done this in: bench before overhead press. I think I've noticed, just anecdotally, with myself and with clients, that it tends to be that if you bench first, you don't lose that much on your overhead work. But if you overhead first, you lose a lot on your bench. And I wonder if he's noticed the same thing or if it's just a coincidence, but either way it works. 4 sets of 6 to 8. You could argue that it's maybe one too many sets. We've now done 8 sets of compounds to start with, but I mean, that's nitpicky. And honestly, maybe I don't even believe that, because actually, yeah, I reckon 8 sets is totally fine. So I take that back. It could be that if you're quite new to a gym, you could trim a set here, just do maybe 3 sets of overhead press, but not a problem at all. Then we go to chest supported dumbbell row. This is the first exercise selection I'm not the biggest fan of. So far, the exercise selection has been excellent. I really like every exercise he's chosen. And this is nitpicky. I think a lot of people find that the dumbbell rows, or the chest supported dumbbell rows, are a bit uncomfortable because like it's kind of pushing, and especially when you use a bit more weight, it kind of pushes into your chest. But look, it's totally fine. It's still a good exercise. It's still an excellent pull exercise. I would probably have selected here a like a standard dumbbell row, you know, the one arm one on a bench or a tripod row or something like that. But that's getting really nitpicky. I still think it's totally fine. This is a good exercise. It includes a deep stretch. It's just a little uncomfortable for some people. Then we jump into leg press. So we've kind of finished so we did 2 sets of kind of heavy compound pushing. Then we did some pulling, and now we're jumping into legs. We go 3 sets of 10 to 12. I think that's a great rep range for a leg press. You can go a little higher on the leg press, especially as a beginner, because there's no axial loading. I think the exercise selection is fine. Like, for example, you might be like, oh, squats are better than leg press. And yeah, they probably are. Except for the fact that we've already done kind of a bunch of compound work, and we've already tired from standing up for our overhead presses. So why not sit down and get some good quality leg volume where we don't have to worry about our axis, our back. So yeah, and I think 10-12 is great rep range, 3 sets, all good. Then we jump into lying leg curl. This is our first, I won't say it's our first hamstring work, because the barbell row recruits hamstrings, but it's our first kind of like proper hamstring work, like kind of directed. 3 to 10 to 12, I think it's a great rep range. This is really good. Then we jump into lateral raises. So finally, yeah, some nice side delt isolation, which is good. I think the best way to build big shoulders is heavy pressing and then side delts with some isolation. So good exercise selection there. Good rep range in 12. I would maybe go a bit higher. I think that you can do your lateral raises all the way up to maybe sets of 15 to 20 even, or 10 to 20. So I would probably have given a bit of a higher rep range here, but it's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with it. The only thing is just sometimes, like I said, at 10 lateral raises, you can kind of feel your shoulder a little bit, and not necessarily in a good way. But that's really nitpicky. I think it's totally fine, especially because when I think about it, I program 10 to 20. So of course that means that some people would be doing sets of 10. So yeah, totally fine there. And then we jump into rope push down. So some tricep isolation work here. Yeah, really, really good. I think it's good to isolate the triceps, even though they are recruited in your presses. So yeah, this is another fantastic day. It's also another day where we could do some supersets. You could superset your lateral raises with your leg press and your rope push downs with your leg curls and be out of there way quicker. And you could also toss in some supersets to a chest supported dumbbell row as well if you wanted. You could superset some abs in there, because now you're kind of done with anything axial, anything that's going to require your abs to stabilize. So you could jump off that incline row and do some abs if you wanted. But yeah, that's just a bit nitpicky, and I just think supersets in general can save people a lot of time. So I would recommend trying it and seeing if it affects you negatively or not. But that's like I say, that's getting real nitpicky. This is a really fantastic, another full body day here. We've now hit a whole bunch of chest, a whole bunch of shoulders, more back. No vertical pulling on this day. So that's maybe a little problem. It would be really good to see some pull-ups or something coming in. But other than that, yeah, really, really good. Then we jump into our third day. So this is our kind of leg emphasis day. We start with 4 sets of 4 to 6 on the squat. This is fantastic. Nice. This is the way squat should be. I think heavy strength work. 4 sets, yeah, on its own, it would be fine. I think, though, because I noticed we're doing 4 sets of Romanian deadlifts afterwards, it might be a little bit too much, 8 sets of heavy leg compound to start the day. But it depends. Some people would survive it, some people would find it too much. So you could always just trim a set and be totally fine. Then we jump into, like I said, 4 to 6, I think is, by the way, fantastic strength range for squatting. All good there. Then we jump into Romanian deadlifts. 4 sets of 6 to 8. Once again, good rep range, a little bit higher. I think that's where Romanian should be. Don't think you should be doing Romanians for sets of 4. You could probably feel in your back a little bit there. So slightly higher rep range, really, really good. Yeah, this is excellent so far. I think this is how I program basically every leg day, or lots of leg days, is heavy knee flexion, so that's a squat basically, or a Romanian, a Bulgarian, or a like a lunge or something, heavy knee flexion, and then we jump into heavy hip extension, so some sort of deadlift, or good morning, or back extension or whatever, but just something where we have extended the hips. Fantastic. Then we go bench press. So we're back. So we benched maybe a couple of days ago, but this is totally fine. Bench, you can have a pretty high frequency on. It's only 3 sets, and it's also in a higher rep range, which I really, really like. I like that he's changed the rep range. We're not just doing 4 to 6 again. We're now getting a bit more volume. So yeah, 8 to 10 on the bench, really, really good. Then we go to seated cable row, so it's a bit more horizontal pulling. 3 sets of 8 to 10. Cable row is a good exercise. Some people don't get much out of it, but most people like it. It's sort of like, I would say like 80% of people get a lot out of it, and then like there's 20% of people who like, I don't feel shit. But to be fair, it's a lot of exercises, and you can always change it up if you know that's you. So no problem there, seated cable row, all good. Then we go to seated dumbbell shoulder press. 3 sets of 8 to 10. I feel like this is a tiny bit disrespectful to the dumbbell shoulder press. This is something I do notice. People kind of like treat the dumbbell shoulder press as like accessory work. But actually, I think it should be treated more like a compound. You can go really heavy. You can get really, really strong. So I would like to have seen this maybe just after the bench, earlier on in the day, like before the cable row, so you can really focus on it. Because this is an exercise where you can get... It's a little bit of a risky exercise if you fuck it up. I know I dislocated my shoulder doing it. But that was only if you fuck it up. But it's a fantastic exercise. I just think it should have a bit more respect on it. Be put earlier in the workout and focused on it a bit more. But no problem there. Then we go to good exercise selection. I really like that exercise. Seated dumbbell shoulder press is fucking insane. You get huge shoulders from doing it. Then we go barbell curl, 3 sets of 12 to 15. I'd probably prefer that this would be an easy bar, just because a lot of people, myself included, get a bit of wrist discomfort holding a straight bar, and it can kind of restrict how much bicep you get versus how much wrist discomfort you get. But 12 to 15 I think is a great rep range, especially because we went heavier on our earlier day. We went 10 to 12 on dumbbells, so yeah, why not go a tiny bit higher with barbell curls? And then we go skull crushers. So this is just a little bit of extra tricep volume. Yeah, why not? 3 sets of 12 to 15. Good rep range as well. I think skull crushers can be done a little bit higher reps, just to make it a bit more comfy on the elbows, because they can get a little elbowy. Yeah, really, really good. I think my biggest complaint with this program, first of all, I just want to say this is a fantastic program. This is the best one I've seen so far. This is pretty close to something I would program. I really, really like this. Basically, every single day. I mean, just think about the way these days start. They all start super well. Heavy compound into like isolation based on the day. Really, really good. In fact, actually, workout 2 and workout 3, you start with 2 heavy compounds, which is really nice. Yeah, really, really good. I think the one thing I would say is we're kind of missing some vertical pulling. Our only vertical pulling in the whole program is 3 sets of lat pull down. It would be really nice, maybe on workout 3, to see some pull-ups. Just to give us some more vertical pulling, because your lats are really going to lag, because we've got a fair bit of horizontal pulling. We have horizontal pulling, is it every single day? No, okay, we have two horizontal pulling on workout 2 and workout 3, but only 1 vertical pull. So yeah, I think that would be really good to see. And it would be good to see him give you the options for supersets to maybe get you out of the gym a bit quicker if you want to. But other than that, this is a really, really nice program. I really like this. I like to see heavy compound work into good quality isolation. And when I say good quality, I just mean exercise selection. Every single exercise here, with the possible exception of the chest supported dumbbell row, and even that, like, it's fine if it doesn't bother you. Every single exercise here has been like excellent exercise selection. There's no goofy shit here, no Bosu ball squats or anything like that. Just good quality exercises programmed quite well, with decent rep ranges and rep ranges. I mean, some of the programs I've reviewed on this, they could learn from having a rep range to actually allow you to progress through. So yeah, this is really, really good. I really like this program, and I totally recommend it. Only thing I'd say is, yeah, maybe add some vertical pulling. Maybe let's just have a think about where we would add the vertical pulling. I think if I were to add vertical pulling to this program, I would maybe superset it with, like say the leg press, for example. Yeah, why not? Why not superset it with, you could superset it with basically any of the later stuff on workout 2 or workout 3, and that would really help. But other than that, this is a really, really good program. I like it a lot. Good rep ranges, good exercise selection, yeah, good programming, and a good example of full body. Full body's not that easy to program, because often, say you program a push-pull legs or something, it feels a little more simplistic because you can kind of, know what you're doing each day, whereas a full body, you kind of have to think a bit more, and I think this guy's done a really, really good job. I think any beginner running this would have a great time. You could add some abs, absolutely add some abs, some forearms, some that sort of stuff, supersetted in, but yeah, really, really good beginner program. You'd do well on this. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed, and I'll see you later.